Well, welcome to the Kristi Jones Show, where it's all about living your life to the fullest. I'm a life coach, speaker, and business owner in multifamily real estate, and I've had wild success in multifamily housing for over 25 years now. I am so passionate about helping others merge their success and lead a fulfilling life, and I bring it all together right here on this podcast. So join me and let's get started to live your life to the fullest. Hey, my friend, welcome back this week to the Kristi Jones Show. Another moment where you and I get to hang out together. And I'm so grateful that you choose to be here and that you choose to listen to the podcast. It means the world to me. And share this episode with a friend because this is going to resonate with so many of you that tune into the podcast. First of all, I'm just getting back off of a little getaway to Cabo, so I'm feeling a little extra brown, and I probably need to really do something with my hair, as in it's probably time to touch it up a little bit, get in to see my hairstylist, all the things into summer. You know, I've got that into summer look, which is sometimes I need a little TLC. Anyways, so I'm refreshed, ate all the food, enjoyed all the things. I'm feeling really refreshed. We actually celebrated our 27th anniversary, wedding anniversary. So that's why we did the getaway. So it was great. If you follow my socials, you saw how amazing the place was. Like literally, I think I basically just marinated in the pool because it was so flippin' hot for one, and it was so relaxing. And it wasn't overcrowded. It was just all the things. And it was beautiful, just beautiful, so peaceful. It was exactly what we were looking for. All right, so today I want to talk to you about, we're going to dive into leadership. And this is going to be leadership that you can apply within your own life, like how you're leading within your home life, how you're leading yourself through your life. But you can absolutely, when I'm talking to you, this is stuff that you could absolutely apply to your career, to your business. So this is kind of what I'm sharing with you goes in both directions. So let me start by saying this. If your life isn't changing in the way that you want, if your business isn't going in the way that you want, if your career isn't moving in the way that you're wanting, let's just say you've got this stuck thing going on. You're just feeling stuck, stagnant, like things are not progressing in the way that you want. To, I want you to ask yourself, do I have a vision? Do I have a vision that I believe in for myself, for my future? Do I have a vision of my life? Do I have a vision of what I want to create with this business? Do I have a vision of where I want to go in my career? Do you hold that vision in your mind? I want you to ask yourself that and ponder that. I think that we have to get really clear, and clarity is everything, right? It always feels good when we have more clarity on something. But if we don't pause, if we just are like spinning the wheels, right? We're just spinning the wheels, we're doing the thing, we're doing what we think we need to do, the busy work, the busy things, whether that includes, raising the kids, doing the things, getting them to where they need to be, going to work, hitting your goals at work, moving the needle forward, right? But if you're just staying in that busy mode and you haven't paused to ask yourself, do I have a vision of where the heck I'm going? Do I have a vision for what I'm wanting to create? Do I have a vision for even the question of, do I have a vision of what legacy I want to leave behind? What I want to bestow onto those that are in my world, that are in my circle? Do you have a vision for that? That really is a crucial part of when things are going to start moving in the direction that you're wanting them to go. So we have to have a vision. As I was coaching with a client, this was a couple months ago, and we were talking about leadership, and we're talking about her work and some things going on that were going on at where she works at the time. And she's in charge of, she leads, manages a department and a team of people. And so she was just going over a few of those things with me. And she said, I want to know more about leadership because I'm not feeling really confident in that area. It was I would say, a new position, a new role that had been assigned to her to manage this department. And so, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole topic right there because anytime we step into something new, that comes with just a lot of things to process and work through and overcome so you don't get in your head too much. But just on the topic of leadership, we were talking about that. And I was telling her, like, you you have to know, you have to be clear within yourself first of what is the vision so that you can then bring the team along, to bring others along so that they can be working towards the end goal. And if we don't have that vision of what it is, it's really hard to communicate that to the people that are in it with us, right? So we have to be clear and have a vision, be working towards something. And so if something isn't changing in your life, if you're so flippin' frustrated with something and you just are like, beating your head up against a wall, are you clear with what the vision is for yourself, for your life? What is it that you believe in? What is that bigger vision? Like think, scan out, okay? Like we're going to zoom out. We're going to go macro on this, right? What is that overall vision? And if you're in business, if you're running a department, if you're leading in any capacity whatsoever, where you work, you have to know what the vision is. And a lot of times, if you're working for someone, you learn that by asking questions to, the person that possibly you report to, or maybe if it's a smaller company, maybe you get direct contact with that person on a regular basis. And they're constantly sharing that information. And if they're not, you've got to, be asking questions so you can better understand what is the vision of what we're going towards? What are we, what is the overall vision so that you can then play your role in that and also bring the others along and get the buy-in and be able to present it to them in a way that everyone buys in and everyone's working together. But for today's podcast, I just want to talk to you about if your life isn't changing in the way that you're wanting it to, one of the number one questions you need to be asking yourself is, do I even have a vision for my life? Do I believe in that vision? That's where you need to start right there. I want to say that when and last week on the podcast, I had talked about the topic of divorce and marriage. And after 27 years, I shared 5 things that I know to be true that I feel are just really imperative nuggets of wisdom to pass along if you've ever had to go through a transition like that. And of, something not, and that this literally could apply to so many things, but I use the example of divorce, like something not working that's very important in your life. And then finding yourself in an unfamiliar, like, I never thought, you go, I just didn't think I'd end up here. I didn't think I would be going through this, but you are. And then I shared 5 things of what to do moving forward, how to really take that and reframe it and use that to your advantage, use that to your strength, and how to move forward and step into it. So the example I'm going to share with you kind of takes me back to that time frame. And when I talk about, do you have a vision for your life? Do you have a vision for what it is that you're creating, doing, you want to experience? So go back to that time of my life. I'm 20, what was I, 25? I was a young mother. My son was 2. And I had to get a clear vision in my mind of what it is that I'm wanting to create for my life, for my son at that time. And it takes a lot of praying. It takes a lot of introspective work. It just, you got to you just got to get real with yourself. And for me, it was a lot of prayer, a lot of seeking wisdom from God, but really listening to that inner voice inside. And so I believe that one of the reasons why the trajectory of my life totally was shifting is because I was getting crystal clear on a vision of what I knew was possible. I didn't listen to the outside noise. I didn't listen to the criticism. I didn't listen even to those voices in my head that were going, "Are you kidding me? Really? You're gonna believe that? You're gonna think that's possible?" When those times happened, man, you have to like buckle down hard. And because you're like, your own mind's trying to work against you. It's trying to remind you of the things that haven't worked out, that, all the things that, I can't believe that you're creating that vision for yourself because it seems pretty far-fetched. You've just got to get really good at silencing that self-doubt. That I have a whole checklist of things to do when it comes to self-doubt and how to work through that. Um, I think I did a previous podcast episode just on that particular topic. But I had to get really super freaking clear with myself on what the vision was. I had to create a vision for overall for my life, for, what it, as a mother, like I knew from the get-go, as far as being a mom and what I wanted to be able to, the kind of life and loving home that I wanted to be able to create for my son. That was like from day one that he was born. But at this point, fast forward to the time I'm talking about when, life just kind of felt like it was just falling apart. I really took a lot of time to get that vision in my life so I could lead the way to create and build the life that I was desiring. So wherever you're at, I guess I would just really urge you to encourage you to take the time to get clear so you can get some clarity on what your vision is. The next topic I want to talk about when it comes to leadership of your own life or leadership in your business and your career, you take what I'm saying and apply it to what makes sense for you right now, the area that you're struggling in. But the next thing I want to bring up is, what is the driving force of your vision? So once you have, you've created that vision for yourself, you've taken the time to, leaders have to have a vision. You can't just go meandering along, hoping we'll just kind of throw things up, throw it against the wall, see what sticks. I mean, that is not effective. You have to have a vision. So as a leader in your life, in your business, in your company, you got to get clear. So you got to get that vision right here in your mind, and you got to believe in it. I mean, believe in it like it's already here. So then you have to ask yourself, what is the driving force for me for this vision? And for me, back then, my driving force for that vision was the love for my child. And I bet if you're a parent, man, you get that too. If you have ever held your child, especially when you first become a parent, man, there's a big shift right there. And all of a sudden it's like just that love is so intense, right? And if you don't have children, I want you to think of something that you love so much. It could be it could be your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your spouse. It could be your mom, your dad. It could be a grandparent. But whatever, something that you love so much, that is a powerful force. And so for me, what was the driving force so that I stayed connected to the vision of all the goals I had set, all the dreams that I had? My driving force was my child, was my son. And that is when, the challenges would happen, or, the setbacks would happen, or I would hear no or get turned down on something. And it felt like the 10th time that had happened, or the doors just weren't opening. And it's so frustrating. And you're just like at your wits' end, and you're just kind of like, I just want to give up. Like, this is a stupid vision. I don't, all that kind of narrative starts going on in your head. You got to have a driving force, and you got to know what that is. And for me, because, let's say, like, let's be real. A lot of times if we just go, well, I need to do it for me, and we should, but sometimes we find ourselves in these situations where we're like, no, we're just worn out. And so when you have a driving force, that for me, then in the scenario that I'm giving you, that was my child, that there was nothing that was going to stop me, even when I felt, like I said, I was up against a wall, just beating my head. The doors weren't opening, so frustrated, or feeling rejected, or like this isn't going to happen for me. When I was in those moments, my driving force was, but I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up, because this is why I'm doing it. This is why I'm doing it. And man, I'm telling you, like, that is a powerful thing. Ain't nothing coming between. At that point, ain't nothing coming between this mama and where I'm going. You can just, it was almost like, even when those moments would happen and I would be so frustrated and feel so like things were so far away, I just had to pause. And then the love for my son was like, oh, heck no. This is not going to be the ending point. I am not giving up. We are press and go. I am going to continue forward. And it got me over that hump, it got that moment. It just got me out of that slump. So what is your driving force for your vision? The next thing I want to touch on is, to lead yourself, just to lead yourself. But also, when you're going to lead others, you must have a vision. You must have a vision. For this to be effective, you've got to have a big picture vision. You have to, let's say in your organization, at your company, you've got to know how to sell the vision. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm thinking of a billion examples that have come up in my mind over the years in my business and in the apartment business, um, from when I first started to all the way to when we created our own company and built that. How many times you're having to communicate the vision, the overall vision, and you have to sell that in a way that works, that aligns with their goals, that gives them like why they want to partake and work towards this vision. And that is a skill, my friend, to be able to communicate that to everyone involved, that there is of why They need to buy into the vision and what it's going to give them and what it's going to do to contribute towards their goals and dreams. So that is an an absolute. You have to sell the vision. No different than like, let's just break this down to family stuff, right? Um, if you have a vision for your family, a vision for like, when going back to the example, when I started over at 25 and my son is 2 and I'm creating a vision, right? As those years go on and you're building a family, you're selling the vision to your family. This is of how our family is going to interact, how we're going to treat each other, how we're going to talk to each other. Whatever that vision is for your family, you've got to sell the vision as the leader of your family. Another thing that comes to play in this is taking action. That we can have the best vision in the world, but if we ain't taking action, my friend, it ain't happening. Okay? Um, you know, when I hear people say, "Well, I'm just gonna keep the vision," and that's great. But if you ain't doing nothing and you're not like doing the work, you're not taking massive action behind or to support the vision, this is not wave a magic wand and it's just gonna, I'm gonna build the company I want to build. Just if I sit here and envision it, you've got to take massive action toward the vision, the building blocks to create that. And along the way, there's times that, I've had things as well in my life where, man, I just get tired and it's almost like I just want to quit. I just want to quit. And quitting on yourself is now readjusting and redirecting and revamping. That's entirely different than just quitting on yourself. Because readjusting and going in a different direction and making those little tweaks along the way, that's part of the process. But I'm just talking about flat out quitting and giving up on yourself and your hopes and your dreams and your vision. My friend, if you're there, I encourage you to get back up and get in the game. Get back up. Man, we've all had to get back up before. We all have. We all have had to get back up. So don't sell out. Don't sell yourself. Do not. Get back up. Get back at it. It's okay to get discouraged. It's okay to be like, man, and you're just questioning everything, but get back in line with your vision. And you got to take some massive action. We can't wish it into existence. Always, always get back up and go again, my friend. So, I'm going to wrap up this short episode. But I would ask the one thing I want to make sure we walk away with today is to ask yourself, what is the vision for my life? What is my vision for my business? What is my vision of myself within this company, within this organization? What is my vision? Get clear on that. And again, I'm gonna back that up. How do I get clear on that? Spend some time with yourself. Get clear. The journaling, the quiet time. Pray about it. Pray about it. Ask for guidance. That's what I do. That's what I do. And oftentimes, I don't always get that clarity right away. So be patient. Things don't just happen at the snap of a finger. We want it to. We want it to. We as humans, we want everything like right now. That's not how life works. Sometimes things happen fast, and that's fantastic. But I believe everything is actually on time. It shows up when we're ready. We get the opportunity when we're ready for it. So ask yourself, what is the vision for my life? What is the vision for my business? What is the vision for my role in this organization that I'm working for? Get clear on that. Get clear on that. Get clear on what your driving force is as you're working towards that vision. Ask yourself those questions and be ready, my friend, to take massive action as you move towards that vision. We have to take action. We have to do the thing. We can't sit on our butts in our chair and just think because we're hoping it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I've never just hoped that money was going to show up in my bank account. I've had to put some steps into place. I've had to do some things. I've had to take some chances. I've had to do some hard things to make that happen. I mean, wouldn't that be great though if we didn't? I know that's not how life works here on earth. So we have to be willing to take action towards the vision of our life. So, as you're creating the vision for your life, or maybe you have one, but you want to refine it, or you want it to get even more clear. Have a vision for your family life. Have a vision for your marriage. Have a vision for your career, for the work that you're putting into the world. Have a vision. If you run a business and you own a business, have a vision, my friend. If you own a business and you have the opportunity to employ other people and give them opportunities, do not disservice them by not having a vision for your company, not having a vision for where the company is going. They need that. They need a vision. They need to know, where are we going? Why are we doing this? What are we creating? What are we about? Give them those tools. Give them those tools. If you're working in an organization, get a vision for what it is that you're wanting to do there. Get a big vision. And I believe in big, bold visions. Like when I was making my vision, like when I was deciding what is my overall vision for my life, I went big. I mean, I'm not going to envision small. No, sir. No, thank you. So I encourage you, have big, bold dreams. Have big, bold dreams for yourself, for your life, for where you're going, for what you're creating. I hope this episode has served you. I hope it's lit a fire under your butt if you needed that, because you haven't had the vision or you've given up on what your vision was. So get up, get back in the game if that's you. All right, my friend, thank you so much for being here today. Share this with a friend. Share it with someone that needs to hear it. And as always, I would love if you would rate and review the podcast, all the things. It really helps me move this forward. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I will see you next week. Till then, take care. I want to thank you for tuning in today to the podcast, and I hope you've enjoyed the conversation and all the info that's been shared today. And I hope you've come away with a few ideas on how to make the most out of it for your life. If you loved this episode, be sure to share it with your friends and family. And also make sure you subscribe to the podcast and tap that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Also, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would leave a podcast review. So until next time, my friend, keep flourishing and thriving and live your life to the